What if there were not enough jobs for people to do? What if robots and automation took over all the jobs that people are doing? What if there were not enough jobs for people to do in the future? What if we had free healthcare, free education, and free housing? These are all things that a lot of us would like to have, and some of us believe that we should have these things. But why? Why should we have these things? And how would our lives be better off with them? We also need to answer another question too. What would the average UBI payment be per person? All these questions will be answered in today's video. So let's jump into it. So first of all, why should we have a basic universal income? There are many reasons why we should have a basic universal income. One of those reasons is because automation and robotics are taking over the jobs that people are doing. Some people say that they're not worried about this because new jobs will open up. But think about all the jobs that were open 20 years ago. Think about all the jobs that are available right now that didn't exist 20 years ago. Even though technology has advanced a lot in the last 20 years, new jobs haven't opened up for all the people that lost their jobs to automation and robotics. In fact, there are less people working today than there were 30 years ago. In the United States, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are about 61 million people that are not in the labor force, meaning they don't have a job but want one and have been actively seeking employment. That number alone is frightening. If we are advancing so quickly with technology and losing jobs to automation and robotics, what happens when those people lose their jobs that find a new job because there are enough jobs available? We already have millions of people living below the poverty line and millions of people that are homeless. This is happening in one of the most advanced countries on earth. Imagine what it's like in third world countries, where they do have the same access to technology and the same amount of opportunity. Another reason why we should have a basic universal income is to make our world a more civil society. Now, why would having a basic universal income make our world a more civil society? Well, think about all the people that live paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by, trying to put food on the table for their families. Think about all the people that are worried about paying rent or a mortgage. Think about all the people that are worried about getting their utilities turned off. Think about all the people that are worried about being evicted from their homes. Now, these are the types of situations that create stress and desperate times for people. People will resort to doing things that they wouldn't normally do. It's like stealing food for their kids or stealing medicine for themselves or their loved ones. They'll do things like selling plasma just to make ends meet. This is a sad reality for millions of people around the world. And this is why we should have a basic universal income. It's so that no one has to go through these desperate times. We should live in a society where no one has to go hungry, where no one has to go without medicine, where no one has to be worried about being evicted from their home. A basic universal income would help solve this problem. Another reason why we should have a basic universal income is because we should have free healthcare. Everyone deserves to have access to good quality healthcare, regardless of whether they have money or not. Healthcare should be a human right, and we should have a basic universal income, so that everyone can afford to go to the doctor when they need to, so that no one has to worry about going bankrupt from medical bills. Another reason why we should have a basic universal income is because we should have free education. Education is very important, and every single one of us should have access to free education. No matter where we live in the world, we should have access to free education from kindergarten all the way to college. And finally, we should have a basic universal income so that everyone can have a place to live, so that no one has to be homeless. It doesn't matter where you live in the world, everyone should have a place to call home. Everyone should have a roof over their head. Everyone should have somewhere where they feel safe and can live comfortably. A basic universal income would ensure that no one had to be homeless. So now you might be asking yourself, what would the average basic universal income be for each individual? For it to meet these needs and these economic standards, well, according to the Economic Policy Institute, the average UBI payment would have to be $1,000 per person per month. And this was calculated by two researchers, Dr. John H. Miller and Dr. Heidi Shyu. They found that $1,000 per person per month would be the average UBI payment needed to lift all people out of poverty and to make sure that everyone had their basic needs met. This means that if you're single, you would get $1,000 per month. If you have a family of 4, your family would receive about $4,000 per month. Now remember, This is just an estimate. The actual number could be higher or lower. But this gives us an idea of what the average monthly UBI payment would be. How would a universal basic income be accomplished? Well, in order for a basic universal income to be accomplished, we would first need to change our economic system. We would either need to switch to a socialist economic system or a capitalist economic system. With a socialist economic system, the government would take over all the industries and businesses and use those industries and businesses to provide for its people. Or we could switch to a capitalist economic system where corporations would give back to society and take care of their people. We could also do away with our current tax system and come up with a new tax system that would fund a basic universal income. We could also do away with our current welfare system and replace it with a basic universal income.
What would the effects be on the economy?
Well, there are pros and cons about how a basic universal income would affect the economy. Some people say that it would cause the economy to slow down because people would have less incentive to work. Other people say that it would cause the economy to speed up because people would have more money to spend. Ultimately, only time would tell how a basic universal income would affect the economy. What do you think? Should we have a basic universal income? So, what should the monthly payment be? And how should it be funded? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear your opinion. Please like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and if you think someone else would enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching.